Hello there. Hello. And we are back here on C Morning Show on C today, and we are wearing our sports attire right now because we are up for our first talk show today, and where we will explore a fast-growing sport here in Indonesia, specifically in Jakarta as well, that is rapidly gaining popularity around the world. It's called flag football. Have you heard of it, Paul? Yeah. Did you play it when you were abroad?
I played touch football. It's somewhat similar to flag
Yeah,
football.
a safer version?
Yeah, before flag football.
Yeah.
Much older.
Well. Oh, and yes, we are going to talk about flag football and everything all around it. So whether you are a sports enthusiast or looking for a fun, inclusive way to stay active, flag football has something for everyone.
All right, so joining us this morning, all the way from the Jakarta Flag Football community, we have a couple of guests that will shed more light on this dynamic sport. Let's now welcome Arvan Wiroreno and Syanisa Natalie Isabelle. Good morning, guys.
Yes, once again, Arvan Wiroreno and Cici. I don't know your full
Yeah,
name.
Cici, you can call me that.
Okay, so welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you
great
so
to have
much.
you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having
This
us.
is my forte now.
Yeah.
I usually see you guys on the flag football field.
Yeah.
But now we are going to talk about flag football just in general.
Let's go.
To the viewers at
Do
home.
it.
So, first general question. What is flag football and how does it differ from American football?
You want to answer? Okay, basically flag football is a safer version of the American football itself. So it's not played with tackle, which is what we do in American football, but we wear flags. This is the flag we use right
Okay,
here.
you can show it to them.
Yeah, so we strap it into our hips, and basically what you want to do is to tackle, you just grab the flag. Like,
Yeah.
if you grab that flag, that's a tackle. So that's the variation of it. So there's less contact about it, but so it's more safe for people
Okay.
to play. Yeah.
So there's no contact at all. So the way you tackle is just to grab the flag.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say no contact at all.
Yeah, there
Just-
will still be a little form of contact. At the end of the day, it's a sport. There will always be contact, but it is kind of safer.
minimize.
Yeah, minimize.
Yeah, they minimize the contact to make it safer.
Okay, so basically this is a variation of American football, so the concept is still following basically the same concept as American football, but due to the fact that there is no tackles, obviously positions are going to be different. Are you still playing with the same number of players on the field? Could you tell us about how many people are on the field at the same time? Because obviously then positions are a little bit
Yeah,
different as well.
okay.
Can you explain a little bit?
So the world-renowned flag football sport, which is going to be in the Olympic, is the 5v5 competition.
Okay.
So there's basically no linemen, which we have in American football.
Correct.
So you can't push around, like block people. So we have defensive backs for defense, and we have receivers, and we have a quarterback that throws the ball, and also the pass rushers to get to the quarterback. So basically 5 on each side, and the rules are similar as you said. So we have downs, the first to fourth down to the middle. So there's only one first down, and the goal is to go to the end zone to score. So it's the
Okay.
same like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was just thinking about positions as well. Like there's literally a position called the tackle, and the
Yeah.
fact that you have no tackling means
Yeah.
there's no such
Yes.
position anymore. So yeah,
Right. So with flag football, that's going to the Olympics is 5v5.
Yeah.
Right, so there's gonna be like 10 players in the field.
Yes.
How many subs are there gonna be? Are there any substitutions though?
So yeah, a usual roster would probably be 12 people. That's the most common. We have 5 on offense and 5 on defense, and usually there's like 1 sub for each side.
Okay.
So on offense, as he said, there's a quarterback and 4 receivers, and then you got usually 4 defensive backs and then 1 pass rusher when you're on defense.
Okay.
So that's the format we usually take, and we have 1 sub usually.
how does it work? Because in American football, there's actually a whole bunch of defenders trying to get at the, like you said, there's a pass rusher. There's somebody who's actually trying to get to the quarterback. Can the quarterback be quote unquote tackled as well? Does the quarterback have flags?
Yes, that is the role for the pass rusher. His
Okay.
main objective is to get the quarterback's flag or to distract him from throwing a completion,
But
a
then
ball.
without any players or any linemen to basically protect the quarterback.
Yeah,
that
so
would make it- how
actually
does that
we
work?
are not allowed to shield. So if there's a shielding fall, actually, if you stop the route of the pass rusher, they have they have this thing called the right of way
Okay.
towards the quarterback. So it's the receiver's job to go away from the pass rusher. And yeah, if we block them, we have a fall.
And that's a good question for you. The pass rusher in general and specific, their main position, they have to be 7 yards away,
Oh,
and they have
okay.
to raise their hand. Once they raise their hand, they have to be 7 yards away from the quarterback, and they have the right of way. to the quarterback, so nobody can shield him.
Oh, so then you have a bit of a
Yes, exactly.
leeway. Because
So-
I was wondering, this is
Yeah.
going to be really hard for the quarterback.
Yeah,
Right?
if it's too close. you
Right.
know.
Okay. So
So
the
the-
quarterback has a chance to see
7
as well
yards
the person
every
that coming
time.
up.
Yeah,
Okay,
and-
that makes sense.
Except it's the second ball. If they hand it off to the second ball, then everybody can go
Then it's
towards
it's
the
fair
line
game.
scrimmage.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
I was going to say I do not want to be the quarterback. Okay, but
Then
yeah,
simply
yeah.
won't have time.
A lot
to
of
just
people
run
don't
through
know.
it.
it's a nice rule. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not much different from American football, right? So what is the main goal in the flag football? Is it touchdowns? You have 2 points or 1 point extra after a touchdown?
Yeah,
How does
that
it work?
works.
Yeah, obviously, same as you said. So the goal is to score a touchdown, and to score a touchdown is the same thing. You have to go past the line of the goal line from defense. But the difference is the extra point. So you cannot kick the ball.
Okay.
Obviously, there's no goal post. So once you score, you have option to go for 1 or go for 2, like 2 extra point. It's the same thing. So if you go for 1 point extra point, it's from 5 yards away. 1 play from 5 yards.
Okay.
And if you go for 2, it's 10 yards away. So that's basically the rules. It's pretty
Passing or
simple.
rushing, either way.
Passing or rushing. And there's such thing called the no-run zone.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
game. So if you're 5 yards from the goal, you cannot run the ball. You cannot rush the ball. You have to pass it.
Ah.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
On any set play, basically.
On any set of down, on any play. So if you're within the 5 yards, you cannot run the ball.
Is
to the
that
end
due
zone.
to the fact that again, you're not allowed to tackle
Yeah.
anyone, so you can't really push that close to the goal
Plus,
line?
plus the closest people that can deflect is always the one in 7 yards. So you cannot actually go right.
It's true.
Run.
Makes sense. Goes back to that.
So it's actually quite safe.
Oh, relatively. I don't know what happened to your knee playing flag football, but we won't talk about that today.
I have a bad knee. So a lot of people are concerned about the safetiness, right,
Yeah.
with this sport. Like, oh, football, you're gonna get a concussion
Yeah.
these days, right? So what are actually the basic rules regarding physical contact in flag football?
Okay, so the worst fall you could get in flag football is actually called illegal contact. So like both offense on defense, you are not allowed to purposely hurt or contact your opponent.
Okay.
So that would cause the biggest fall you could possibly get.
Okay.
The consequence would probably be for offense, you get 10 yards penalty, so you have to move back 10 yards. And everybody knows who plays football, it is so difficult to get 10 yards.
recover 10
Yeah,
yards.
to recover 10
In
yards.
addition to the yards you already have to
in
gain.
addition to a loss of down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
lose one opportunity basically. And for defense, same thing. If they charge, if they contact the offense, they will also give the opponent a chance to gain 10 yards.
Okay.
Yeah. So which will obviously be a big disadvantage to the defense.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay,
so it's
I mean, let's define contact a little bit. You said this is somewhat of a mostly non-contact sport, but inadvertently contact is going to happen.
Yeah.
So what is allowed and what isn't allowed? I mean, when you talk about accidental, you can have accidental contact all the time. Obviously, this is a sport where there's offense meets defense, but how much is allowed in regard to that?
So I play receiver and he plays defensive back. So maybe
Okay.
we can talk a little bit about
Both
the
sides?
difference. Yeah. So for offense, contact would probably be charging. So when we get the ball and we run to the defender when they have set the edge, it's called when they when they have their own stance and then we charge at them.
Yep.
That is an illegal contact. That's
Okay.
called charging, and that is not allowed. So we are always encouraged after we catch the ball, stay first, look at your surrounding, and then run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're not allowed to purposely just charge to your defenders. Yeah, so that.
So you're not going to get this kind of like 50-50 when someone's catching the ball and somebody's already there right away. Like,
So that is actually 50-50 is actually somehow allowed. That's called an air battle usually. So if you battle in the air where you both go for the ball,
Yes.
usually if there's contact, it would not be called. Unless
Oh.
the defender looks like they purposely pull your hand
I
or
see.
like pull your body to the ground. Any purposeful movements usually be called.
if both of you are still making an attempt at the ball, that's
Yeah.
still allowed.
But actually mentioned before, so you have this right of possession.
Yes.
Let's say if you want to make a play on the ball, but then you go through the player,
Yes.
and that's obviously a foul. You
Okay.
can't make contact to the player as much as you can and tackle.
Okay.
Oh, well, just like in football, when you're reaching for a header, for a cross, right?
Yeah, in European football, you mean?
European football, yeah, soccer.
Getting a little confused.
Sorry, okay.
gotcha.
We call it football here too, right?
We're getting some clips of it right now.
Yeah.
This is some of your. Is this?
Yeah. So this would be part of the community. I think this is one of our competition as well. And yeah, that's basically what we do. And you cannot jump in this sport as well. So we want to avoid people jumping while running.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And the flag we wore right there, you cannot run and cover the flag. So
You have to allow people to have a chance to grab it.
Yeah, you can actually get a call for flag guarding.
Yeah,
right?
it's called flag guarding.
There's a
That's-
fall for that if
Okay.
you flag guard as an offense.
And in regards to other sorts of rules, everything remains the same. You're playing 4 quarters, and
It's
So
two
it's
halves.
two halves, yeah.
Okay.
Half
Two
of,
halves.
It's
15
two
minutes.
halves, 15 minutes each.
With, 2 timeouts, and you get a 2-minute warning on each half. Same
at the
as,
end of each
yeah.
half. Okay, so when it comes to making the calls, because an accidental hit or one that is not so accidental, who makes the calls? Do you guys have officials, referees? Who?
Yes.
Yes.
We have a referee here. Actually, it's people from the community as well that are
Okay.
willing to help as a referee. But we actually have some dedicated referee as
Yeah.
well with us that actually travels around Asia to ref competitions
Nice.
like that. Yeah.
Okay. Respect
Wow.
respect the call.
Respect
Yeah, respect the rest.
the community, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one for the community. So I have a question. So before you play flag football, what skill sets do you need to have? Do you have to have a good knee? Or do you have to have a strong upper body?
Yeah.
Good knee is preferential.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the most basic thing you could have before playing football is some sort of athleticism. It is good. It is a very high athleticism game. You don't really need a big posture. You don't really need a big body. It's inclusive in that sense. But you do need to have some form of athleticism because there's a lot of like agility and a good knee. That's for sure.
Yeah, 'cause we're
That's
seeing
a
lot
plus
of, like,
point. you know?
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of lateral movements.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of
Cuttings.
stopping and
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah.
Spinning as well.
Acceleration, deceleration is a big thing in football.
Okay.
And like for offense, obviously you need to know how to catch a ball.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bare minimum, catch a ball. On defense.
Yeah.
Now here, I want to ask a little bit about
Yeah.
defense because
Yeah.
when you talk about American football, you see a lot of the defensive linemen. They're all like huge, but you don't have defensive linemen here.
Yeah.
So what skill set would it take to be a good defender?
I would say you need a lot of knowledge on the game as well. But to start, you need like a good footwork. That's key right there. If you can move your feet, if you can accelerate, decelerate every time, that's really important, and that really helps. But what's nice about this sports is that actually it's really easy to get into because the basic is to run and like catch and
Right.
like just catch people, right? So it's easy to get into, but once you get into it, there's a lot of skills involved. So I really encourage people to like do repetitions of what's like the basics, the simple running and stopping and like change of directions, as you said. It's really important for that aspect, especially on defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say so. So how about let's talk plays.
Let's talk plays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Oh,
get down
damn.
and dirty.
And let's name the top 3 quarterbacks. Who's your top 3 quarterbacks in American?
I'm really old. Joe Montana.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's probably the best quarterback of all time.
One of the best. One of the best. Yeah.
Okay, and Joe Montana has really good plays, right?
Yeah.
For the team, for the offensive.
Probably hundreds of plays in his head.
Yeah. Does it apply the same way for flag football?
I think for the offense, we do also have multiple plays. I think what's difficult is because we don't have linemen, so we only have, I would say, 3 seconds. 2 or 3 seconds for the game to develop, for the plays to develop. So everything has to be quick. Hence the athleticism that I was talking about. Speed is really a big thing for the receivers. They need to get to the point, a certain point in X amount of times, which usually only entails 2 to 3 seconds. Yeah. So we do have a million plays, but they all have to have options that develop quickly.
Okay,
So we
like
do
on the fly.
have deep routes.
Yeah.
We do have intermediate and short routes. So in every single play, there has to be 3 options so
Okay.
that the quarterback at least can see
Right.
where it could possibly
The
be thrown
openings.
to, where the window is and stuff
That
like
was going to be my follow-up question. How do you run a deep route when you only have several seconds to get the play
That
off?
is why you put your fastest receivers on that route. Yeah, that is the only
Right.
way.
So you
fastest
you
receivers.
just get everyone to run and see the fastest guy. Here's the
Yeah.
receiver.
Just go deep.
And
Go
hope
deep.
the safety just like is slower than your wide
Right.
receiver,
Okay.
basically. Yeah. So we do have a lot of things, but the most basic plays that we see a lot is probably like an all hook kind of thing. Short, simple,
Right.
quick.
Just
at
gaining-
least
gaining the
gain a
yards
few
you need at the
yards,
time.
yeah. And that's a really good play to see if what defense they're
Okay.
showing right now. Usually with an all hook, you can see if the safety plays down, safety plays up.
Okay.
Usually the safety plays up. The guy he's guarding is usually open.
Okay.
Like a chess game over
Yeah.
there. Wow.
Exactly.
A
That's
lot of
Does
strategy.
running work the same way?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, passing is clear. I mean, it seems to be the most common play for flag football rather, is that you got your receivers out. But how does rushing work? Because normally in American football, it's very complicated when it comes to rushing, trying to block for the run.
exactly. So with flag football, running would be a little challenging for the offense and the defense actually. 'Cause
Yeah.
When you're fast and you can like move around, it's hard to catch them while get the flags.
Right.
They can move their hips. They can. We have to close out as a team, as like multiple players. Like with defense, similar to basketball, how we play. There's zones and there's man coverage.
Right.
So we have to get used to that. And with running, sometimes it's hard. If he passed one guy, and it's just us, everybody scrambled to get them.
Right.
So
You
that's
just
how you gain like small yards to keep the defense in check.
Okay.
That's how you
Keep them
with
honest.
running. Yeah, keep them
Yeah.
honest.
Trying to
Exactly.
catch a chicken sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun.
That's-
Okay, so flag football is quite new right here
Yeah.
in Indonesia, right? So how is actually the community developing right now here? And are there any regional or national tournaments held?
To call this quite new is actually might surprise people that people actually plays this since like 2000.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
Correct.
But
I've had
the
friends.
community itself, so me and you were there too. Like we actually started this whole Jakarta community when we started to play it
Yeah.
in 2019. Was
2019,
that?
it was
Yeah.
the end of 2019.
It was before COVID,
Yep.
and then so we acted like as a bridge between these people that played before to the newer people that wants to try the flag football itself. And then after COVID, it blew up. It becomes a big community.
Yeah.
Jakarta Flag Football is now there in Senayan every week.
Yep.
And newbies plays every time, and we have a competition all throughout the year. So that's how we grow the community from itself, and now it's up to like 5,000, 6,000 people.
Yeah.
They're active in the community itself. to
Really?
play. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you organize each other? Basically, are there games that happen every week?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now the community, so obviously their main focus is for regeneration.
Okay.
So a lot of what the community does is making sure we have people who are always, coming into the sport, learning the right way. And I think the older generations, we can handle ourselves. Like we have our own teams, clubs in Jakarta. We have a team for regional and we have a team for international tournaments as well. So a lot of that we can control ourselves and we can manage ourselves. So that's just how it just progresses. The older you get, the more the community like run free, child. Like that kind of vibe. Yeah.
I like how you put yourself in the older group.
Yeah.
So we'll get to the international stage in a second. What do you think caused this boom? Because like you mentioned earlier, I've had friends that have been playing flag football since around the mid-2000s, I would say. And back then it was hard just to get, two teams together just to play. Everybody, make sure that everyone's coming out to play. They used to try to get me out to play because we're running out of guys here. So-and-so couldn't come. What do you think caused the recent boom in the late, like...
Now people are
last
actually
year?
competing for spots.
Right.
In teams.
Yeah.
Like
What
they
do you
do
think?
tryouts and stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you think this happened?
I mean, to specify the reason itself is kind of hard, kind of difficult, but to see that the trend is there's plenty of new sports growing after COVID, and
true.
people willing to try more outdoor activities, people trying to get healthier maybe, and as I said before, flag football is very easy to get into. It's hard to get good at it, but to get into playing, it's pretty simple. You just run, you just throw the ball and catch, right?
Right.
To describe it's pretty simple. So people are curious about what they can do in the sports, and it's very inclusive. You can be tall, you can be short, you can be fast, you can even be big.
Yeah.
You can catch the ball by being big, right? So that actually helps people to just like get into it. And people with athletic backgrounds, especially with let's say we played basketball before, we get into this sport. It's new, but we have the feel for it.
Yeah.
And you just like it's easy to play.
I think with especially a sport like this, I think there's just various positions that you find what you're good at, and then they can
Exactly.
slot you into that particular position. And team sports, it's always easier to integrate yourself as
Right.
opposed to picking up an individual sport as well.
100%. Yeah.
You'll be surprised how much American football has grown, because last year's Super Bowl, I was on the MRT and I saw like a guy literally in front of me, and I was watching the Super Bowl on my
thing,
phone, and I'm like, hey, he's watching it too.
It's a growing
You know,
sport,
yeah,
right?
So it's getting quite big here.
It's on pay-per-view now
I'm not
here
surprised.
in Indonesia.
Absolutely.
So it is really a growing sport. But both of you has actually competed in international tournaments.
Wow.
Yes.
They both, I think, just got back from Malaysia
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Tell us more about that. How did you participate in this international events?
You know what I'm saying? Okay, I think that's the next step for us, like for our Indonesia to grow, is that we can take example of how people actually play this sport before in international level. So I've been to 2 international competitions this past year, one in Thailand in February and another one in Malaysia with Bombshells. It's called Bombshells is the club we went to. And so it's not nationally managed, it's just a club that we want to participate in this competition.
Okay.
We get to see a lot of teams that actually treat this professionally, and they are really good, and it's a great experience for all of us to get to play there and teach what we experience there to people here.
Okay.
So that's where we're trying to go, especially with Nona Batavia.
Yeah.
She can explain some more
So
about that too.
Nona Batavia is basically a traveling team for the women's representing Indonesia.
Very nice.
We have our coach, Coach Windra. He is a very big figure for the community in flag football, especially in Asia. Even in the US, like he's a big figure. So he has given us the opportunity to be able to travel. So for this year, Nona has gone to Thailand, Malaysia, and Australia. So yeah, he just basically wants us to learn as much as possible. No goal. The goal is just basically to improve
learn,
and
to
learn as
grow.
much as you can, especially from people who are not in the region, like the Australians, and then usually we had people from Moscow come over and compete as well. So that's something we don't really get to experience when you're just stuck in the local scene.
Sure.
So yeah, we do travel a lot just to get, a feel of what flag football is internationally.
What did you guys learn?
Well, they went without a goal. They finished second twice. So
Wow. Okay. We learned that we're pretty good.
We learned that we're not bad.
And that would be my next follow-up question was where, I mean, now that you have a kind of you've zoomed out a little bit and got a bigger perspective, like where do you think we are on the flag football not rankings, but on a scale, comparing yourselves to other countries?
In terms of world ranking, we're pretty low, but that has to do with a lot of point systems, like the IFAF. They have their own way of measuring their rankings.
Sure.
But in terms of actually experiencing the competition, again, this is a sport of strategy.
Yeah.
Mental stability and it's all a mental game.
Okay.
If you're able to mentally prepare yourself, it all comes with preparation. If you're able to be mentally prepared when you go into a game, anything is possible. You can be the shortest one in the freaking competition. You can be the biggest, whatever. As long as you have the best strategy for the game, the possibility is endless.
It's more of a level playing field, I think, compared to American football. I would say.
100%.
Definitely, but there's a lot of work to do still for us to get to the top of the games. For example, we have the privilege to play the Asian champion, which is Thailand, and we learn a lot from them, which means that we have things to catch up.
They're really good.
They're really good.
Really, really good.
So it's not just growing here in Indonesia, but also in Southeast Asia.
Yes.
Right. So where do you see flag football in the next maybe 5 years here for Indonesia?
For Indonesia itself, I mean, there's talks that we are trying to reach the Olympics 2028, which is the official start of flag football in the Olympics.
Okay.
But to get there, there's obviously plenty of work to do. We need more than just the community to step up and involve, which we have signs that the government-related body is actually trying. We have the new established AAFI. It's just recently established. So we hope that we can have support from there, and we'll see how it goes from there. Yeah.
Well, obviously, I mean, 2028 is coming soon too.
It is.
And you would first have to qualify, so there would be a qualification process. I'm curious, when you guys select your international teams to represent Indonesia, what's the selection process like? Are there tryouts? Like for Nona Batavia, for example.
Yeah, so for Nona Batavia, the coach, our coach Windra, he actually selects who gets to go or who he feels is the most prepared and ready to go. But in terms of our national team, as of last year, we went to the IFAF. Yeah, it was in Malaysia. It was a national There was a national team selection.
Okay.
We had coaches, but they are obviously people from the community again.
Okay.
For the girls, it was the guys basically who came, willingly.
Sure.
So shout out to people in the community coming to help us out. They did the selections, everything. Everybody was called from different regions. So there was some people from Jakarta, Bandung, and then Jakarta, obviously, Surabaya were called, and then they just chose based on whoever they thought was ready.
Yeah, this 2025 actually in October there will be another IFAF Oceania Asia Championship. So Indonesia will hope to send a team, and we are actually looking forward on how the process is going to be. Because as I mentioned before, AFI is now established, so I'm guessing there will be involvement from them to select the national teams. And the process itself, we're looking forward to it.
All right.
Wow.
It'll be like a call-up, like in like our Indonesian national football team, right? You would kind of take a look at scout who the best players are. And
So basically, both of you are athletes.
Yes. Self-proclaimed athletes.
hey, it is a
Fun.
It is a hard
Self-funded.
sport. It is a hard sport. It takes dedication.
Yeah.
You know,
How long is it since you last played? Last hit the field?
I hit the field a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did
as
you?
A,
So
yeah,
you're
as
back.
a practice player.
As the practice player,
I practiced with him.
Oh, so
And he was concerned.
Of your
good.
knee.
was he jumping a lot? 'Cause
no,
doctor said he shouldn't be
I
jumping.
made sure he stays on the ground.
I missed the sport, but
Yeah. There you
Make
go.
sure
Hey.
you're mentally prepared and physically.
Don't worry, you won't miss it too long because we're going to take a short break. But
Yeah.
when we return, we're going to get you to show off your skills.
Let's go.
gonna
Both
give-
of them are going to give us a coaching clinic.
That's right. We're going to show our viewers exactly. If you guys are interested to find out more, well, you will find out more, and you'll get a look at to how flag football is actually played. That's coming up next after this short break. Stay tuned.